Hello everyone, it's Lori McGuire with Remax McGuire team in beautiful Laguna Niguel, California. There's so many time-saving techniques that I've learned over the years, and this has always been like a hobby of mine, to read books on time-saving techniques, to listen to podcasts, and to share what I learn with my team. And I would say these are some of the 8 I'm going to go over are probably my top 8. I do have others though, but I try to narrow it down to 8 that I like to use. So one in particular is something that I used to do because I thought it was an attribute, and that's multitasking. Actually, it's not a positive thing to do. Because studies show that only 5% of the population can actually multitask proficiently. And if you try to multitask, and that's just doing a couple things at one time, or you go from project to project to project, it's on your desk, you generally lose 20% of your efficiency. But when I got into real estate at a young age, I really prided myself on being the best multitasker. I would be able to, handle a phone call and take care of this and do that, And I always wanted to make sure I hired an assistant who was a very good multitasker. I always had that as a description in my ads, must be a great multitasker. Go figure. Nowadays, they've proven that multitasking really doesn't work. So that's number 1, is to stop multitasking if you are doing that. Number 2, for saving time, a really good technique is to do what's called batching. And batching is when you do either the same type of thing all in batches. So if you're going to be making calls, like prospecting calls, you do it all at once rather than throughout the day. If you are going to be paying bills, for example, some people, they'll pay bills throughout the week, and they'll get bills in their mail, and then they sit down at their desk and then they write out the check and everything. Well, that is going to take you possibly an extra 40 minutes per week if you do it 3 times a week, rather than if you just accumulate everything and you do it once a week and then you batch it together. So I believe in batching, and I also believe in time blocking. So time blocking is when, and a method for time blocking that I really believe in, and you can look this up. It's a very famous method. It's called the Pomodoro technique. But it's based on, you could get like a timer, and you put that timer on 25 minutes, and then you do 25 minutes of whatever task you're trying to accomplish. And you don't stop. You don't let any interruptions affect you. And then you give yourself a 5-minute break. So then you put the timer on for 5 minutes. Then you do it again for another 25 minutes, the task. It could be a different task. And then you put the timer on for 5 minutes. You give yourself a break. Another 25 minutes, you do a different task or the same task. You might as well break, not do the same task because you might get bored, but you might be in the middle of it and be really into it. And then 5 minutes for a break. And then generally, after 3 or 4 times, you either you can give yourself a longer break. So instead of 5 minutes, you give yourself like a 25-minute break. And there are they're not real estate apps, but there's regular apps that you can download on your phone called Pomodoro, and those are very helpful. You don't have to be strict with, it has to be the Pomodoro technique, 25, 25, 20, whatever will motivate you. Other productivity methods that are very, very good. are excellent. Definitely, there are certain times of the day when your energy is at its highest. Okay, so generally studies show that it's anywhere between 2 to 4 hours from the time that you wake up. Now, some people are nocturnal though, so they're very much into their productivity level, and there's very few people that are nocturnal where their productivity is best at night. Generally, most people, it's in the morning, not that you have to wake up early, but your energy is at its highest between 2 to 4 hours after waking up. So that's when you want to eat that frog. That's a book by Brian Tracy, actually, and it's an excellent book. Also about time management, and what that is all about. Eat that frog is you tackle your biggest challenge first thing, like when you have the most energy. And just like the book, The One Thing is another productivity book, and that's by Gary Keller. So it's always really important, instead of focusing on these huge to-do lists, focus on one thing at a time that you do. And I still rely on the Franklin Covey planner. I do like to write things out. I am definitely very much into apps though, and I interact with my team via communication with apps. But personally, I like to write things down. So I do end up writing a long to-do list, and I put who I'm delegating the things to on the left-hand side. It's just their initials. And I generally will Xerox my daily to-do list. I like to just write it on my to-dos. I always do, like, if it's an A item, A plus item, A minus, B plus, B minus. It shouldn't even be on my list if it's a C item. It should go in a different list altogether. When I was really particular, I would do A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. Crazy. Okay. But I'm really into, like, time management. What can I say? And so then I Xerox my list, and I send it, I email it to my main admin people, like my right-hand person, my director of operations, and my listing manager. Then we go into the conference call center, and we review what I've delegated, and then I also review what they have on their plate. And we just kind of go over each listing, each escrow, what's going on. We try to do the listings first, and what Kira, my listing manager, has, so she can get off the phone. Then Janine, my director of operations, and I go through our stuff, and then we get off the phone. But then at 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. is when the sales partner call is, and that is generally with Janine and sales partners, or I get on the phone with the sales partners, and we go over all of their needs and wants and challenges and everything. So we try to be as efficient as we can be throughout the day, because time is such a commodity. Okay, emails can be such a waste of time. Number one is turn off your notifications. Especially that annoying beep beep or whatever it is every time you get an email. That's the worst thing you could have. Even the notifications that show you have an email that came in and they pop up on your screen. Oh my gosh, I've seen that when I am in front of one of my assistants' computers. I go, take that off. That's going to drive you, because it takes your attention away. And then also think about this. If you are interrupted, this is another statistic. I'm really into statistics, but for every interruption, even a 2.5 second interruption doubles your chance of making a mistake. So turning off notifications and email. I have actually an outgoing message on my emails, like my a signature. It's like not a signature, but when someone sends me an email, it just says something like, to improve my productivity, I check emails twice per day. And if you need assistance immediately, please email info@mcguireteam.com. But I do check my emails twice a day, but I don't want There are some clients that are really into email, and then they wonder, well, why am I not getting back to them for 6 hours? It's because I don't check my emails, every hour or every 30 minutes, because I just don't have time. So it's very important, whatever method of communication that you tend to do, that you communicate that to your client. Okay, this is another one, and I am at fault with that. Don't have clutter around. It will only mess up your brain. So like at your in your office, have your desk clutter free. Now I do believe that, like with your desk, even if you have to put your files and all your stuff that's like, really making you crazy underneath your desk in the meantime until you can organize it, do it, because you're going to have peace of mind. And then just bring up the thing that you're working on at the time. If you can at least work on a project at a time and not have too many things on your desk, or when you go into your house, you see so many projects at a time. Like, finish one project at a time. Otherwise, if you're like me, I can start a lot of things at one time. And then I'm like, So that is on my list. I'm getting better at. And then also plan ahead for any distractions, really important. So if you think you could be distracted, then, for example, I'm just thinking, when I work in the office, but I also work at my house. I have a home office, and I have an area in my office that I work at too. But when I'm in the office, I want to make sure that I'm there for my team when I'm there. So I have certain times where I'm there for my team, and then other times where I say, hey guys, or girls, or ladies, and man, I have one man on my team. Okay, I'm signing checks right now. This is the time that we could talk, because I go in there once a week to sign the checks, and I do all that kind of stuff where I can talk. Other things, I'm doing market analysis, all that stuff. So, but pre-plan, distractions. There's going to be times when you are going to be distracted, and when you know that your energy level is at its lowest, that's actually when you're supposed to do meetings. I know that sounds the craziest, because you would think you'd want your energy level to be the highest when you're conducting a meeting, but most meetings are a waste of time. So if you can avoid doing meetings or having meetings, avoid that. I try to have as minimal of meetings as possible. Like with my team, we do meetings. We do them every other week, but we really want to make them effective. That they're not just, oh, okay, let's just have a meeting to have a meeting. Let's really make them effective. And otherwise, we're not going to have it. And if someone calls me to have a meeting, first thing I want to ask them is, well, can you please email me an agenda of what the meeting would be about? I want to know what it would be about, first of all. Now, of course, if it's a listing appointment or something, I'm going on the meeting, to the meeting. It's no problem about that. If it's for negotiating contracts, no ifs, ands, or buts. But a lot of meetings can be discussed over the phone. Or if someone wants a meeting, they want something from you, we'll cut to the chase. And I'd like to know what I'm getting myself into first. So we just have to really treasure our time. And that's what I wanted to convey to you.